Well, hello everybody, this is Adam. Let's dive into week 8, shall we? This week we have a grade sheet, and we're going to build a dashboard for grades. So let's go ahead and download the education project. We'll go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to move it right here. Okay, and let's walk through the scenario. Use text functions to break apart the first and last name of each student into the provided columns. So over here, let's take this. We did this before, first and last name. So go back and look at your old workbook on how you did that to break it apart, and go ahead and do that right here with these names. Break them apart and do a first and last name using string manipulation functions. Boom, that one's done. Calculate the class average and class average. So that's right here. So how would you calculate the average? Well, here's all the scores. So you should be able to do the class average points, which is the, let's enable editing, shall we? That would be something like the average of this range, right? Something like that. And then the percentage would be whatever this is divided by this number right there. And you should be able to do that across all these like that, just like that. Boom, 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 all the way to the end. Okay, pretty straightforward. Two formulas there, drag them and drag them across. Calculate each student's final score and the class average in AD. So over in row AD, you just have to sum all these things right here, their final score for this one. Then add a new calculation, which is going to be right here in this, a final percentage, right, is what they're asking right here, is the total points earned, which was the final score, divided by the total possible points. And so the total possible points, you're going to sum all of these things up right here and give yourself a total possible up here. And then you simply divide the final score by those possible points for each one of these. So you'll anchor this one, right? And that's it there. And that's everything you need to do on this sheet. Now on the dashboard sheet, okay, this thing right here, it's all pretty well laid out for you. You do a lookup, create a drop-down list using it from the pick list, right? So you do a data input, a list, right? And the source will be over here like this, right? And you're okay. And now you can see all the names right here like that. And now that you have that, now you can do your lookups on their final score. And that final score will be whatever you put. And they want in that final score, they want the percentage right here, right? Formatted as a percent. Okay. And so that will be this AE column that you create way over here, the final percentage for each one of the students. This one right here, you know what that is. You can do the lookup all the way over here in these columns. Your first name and last name and student ID, go there. And then you have this one here, the student average, and the student average and student average and student average across these cells right here. And then the same thing right here. Now this needs to be a percent, and so what you have to do is you have to take the, like for test 1, right here, you're going to take this number right here, divide it by the possible points to get a percentage. And so for each one of these like that, that's only worth 20, right? And these are worth 100, so it's 56%, but 11 divided by 20 is like 55%, right? And so you need to put that percentage here. And so each one of these, you have to divide it by the total possible points. For the projects, you do the same thing. For the other projects, you do the same thing. Okay, we covered first name, we covered last name, student ID, and then use functions to get the selected student score and calculate the percentage in a single cell. Use functions to get the class average. So now that you have all the student numbers for each one, what was the class average inside of each one of these? So if you go back up here, you're going to have these class averages like this. And so you'll pull the numbers, the class percentages from these for each one of these like this, all the way across here, all the way across here, right? So class, this one right here, for example, would be this number here, whatever it calculates to be, and so on and so forth. Okay, now the last thing is to create a chart. The chart they want you to do is the final for each one of these. You want to do a final exam and you want to chart this information right here, and you want to chart this information right here. You want to chart this information right here. You don't need to go look at this other sheet. You just chart this information right here, and the same thing here. Okay. They say for the projects charts, student score must be shown using columns with the class average shown as a dot. So the way you create a chart like that is, say you have some data like this and we insert, this is just for examples, right? The charting things. Go ahead and make a recommended chart, something like this. Okay, and we'll put it right there. And the way you make a dot, this is kind of, you change the chart type. You actually do it this way. You select the data. Nope. We click change chart type. And nope, we do this. You select a data series and then you hit change chart type, and then it shows you this extra box down here. So there's the secret sauce. Is if you want to do this, you select the data set. So there's the first row data set, second row data set, right? And you want to select one of the data sets, and when you change chart type, it allows you to do this. And then this thing right here you set as a scatter, and now you can see this second row is a dot and the first row is a bar chart. So there's the secret sauce on how to do a dot with an average. Okay. If we walk through the criteria, used text functions to break apart the first and last names, which we covered. Gradesheets calculated the class average and class points for all of these columns up here for each assignment. On the grade sheets, calculated the class average and each student's final score in column AD. Created a new calculated column for the final percentage in AE. Then added this drop-down list here. Then this one is final score, shows a percentage. On this one here is the merge cells to the right of these, so the first name and last name and student ID are right here. This one is student ID and student name. And then this is the student score and calculated the percentage for all assignments. So the final exam and the test 01, test 02, and all of these right here. And then the class averages for each one of those as well is the next one. The next one says create a chart for each area. So final exam, tests, first half projects, and second half projects. Okay, and each one displays the student's performance in relationship to the class average. Okay. The charts formatted with the student scores must be shown with columns using the class average shown as a dot. And then all the charts should look professional with axis labels and chart titles. And cells are properly formatted with percentages as well. There's another one too. Okay, there you go. There's the requirements. Good luck. I know you guys can do this. Have a great week.